Malema mocks Pravin Gordhan in death, calls funeral a ceremony of cats. After being vocal about his opinions on Gordhan following his death, EFF leader Julius Malema took to social media to further express his discontent over the funeral ceremony of former Minister Pravin Gordhan. The ceremony was held at the Durban ICC in KwaZulu-Natal and followed by a private cremation yesterday. Gordhan died on September 13, 2024, after several months of illness. He was 75. Though not direct in his metaphorical shots, it was clear who Malema had cryptically posted about. Malema posted a clip of the late ANC stalwart Winnie Madikizela-Mandela's funeral, which was held at Orlando Stadium in Gauteng and attended by thousands in 2018. This is the image of a hero's funeral, saluting the one who lived and was laid in rest by the people. Not mokete or dikatse, a ceremony of cats. Malibongwe, he captioned the clip. In another post, the EFF leader showed a small tent, saying the shelter would have saved the day, just short of saying the funeral would have been better held than that at the vast Durban ICC. Gordhan's legacy is one of failure, exploitation, and corruption. May we never allow another Pravin Gordhan to rise again, the EFF said in a statement. It further stated that Gordhan was a man whose legacy is inextricably linked to the collapse of our state-owned enterprises and the betrayal of the South African people. We cannot mourn counter-progressive forces that stood against the potential of building a successful, sovereign country that serves its people. Instead, we are reminded of the wreckage he leaves behind, wreckage that has ravaged the lives of ordinary South Africans. Meanwhile, stalwarts of the ANC said yesterday that Gordhan had backed the government of National Unity GNU, but was hopeful that the ANC could renew and return itself again into an organization that could get the majority vote at future elections. Party leaders, including President Cyril Ramaphosa and Secretary General Fikile Mbalula, paid tributes to Gordhan at his funeral service held at Durban's ICC yesterday. Gordhan served 2 terms as Minister of Finance, was a former Commissioner of the South African Revenue Services, and served as Minister of Public Enterprises from February 2018 until his March 2024 announcement of planned retirement. He died on September 13th at the age of 75. Yunus Karim, the former Minister of Communications, said he had spoken to Gordhan on 3 occasions after the May elections, and Gordhan's view was that the balance of forces were weighted against the ANC and the party had no choice but to enter the GNU. The ANC had lost its majority in the recent elections and for the first time had to enter the power-sharing agreement with other parties. As much as the ANC and the DA are fundamentally different parties, the main aim was to get the economy growing, create jobs, and reduce inequalities. I think he saw it as a contingent phase, a temporary phase, so the ANC can consolidate and win back a majority in elections 5 years or as soon as possible after. Karim said he believed Gordhan was confident this could be done by ensuring economic growth, job creation, and reducing inequality. For him, it was a tactical decision, but the overall strategy was to use the GNU to build the political, social, and moral support for the ANC to become a majority, Karim said. ANC KZN leader Mike Mabuyakulu said that Gordhan took the initiative after the elections results had been announced to hold a meeting with him. We discussed the issues of the information of the GNU, and indeed he was for this information, but he understood that it was supposed to be a transient measure, that it was a setback for the liberation movement, the ANC, Mabuyakulu said. Former eThekwini city manager Dr. Mike Sutcliffe said Gordhan was a strategic person and would have understood that the ANC, to a large extent, deserves what happened at the elections. He would have said that the creation of the government of the national unity is what we need right now because the ANC needs its own renewal. Sutcliffe said Gordhan would have welcomed the competition for the ANC and the greater measures of accountability that the GNU created. I don't think Pravin would have had any qualms about that because in the end, the biggest strategy is that we want to address poverty, we want to address unemployment, we've got to address inequality, and we will have all three of these in our country. The best way to do this is to make sure everyone's part of that organization, and the medium-term plan is going to have to deal with addressing these issues, Sutcliffe said. Ramaphosa said that Gordhan was an activist who was principled and stood firm in the face of state capture. During one of the most painful chapters in our democratic history, as the state was being looted by the powerful and connected, he chose to resist. Ramaphosa said Gordhan was prepared to confront those who had once been his comrades, who he had once looked up to as his leaders, but who had abandoned the cause of the people. As many others looked away, his revolutionary consciousness demanded no less of him than that he speaks out. For him, it was no different to when he joined the struggle against apartheid. It was a choice between what was right and what was wrong, and it was a choice between standing with the people or standing against the people, Ramaphosa said. Meanwhile, hundreds attended Pravin Gordhan's second memorial service in Durban. Hundreds of people attended the second memorial service of former Public Enterprises Minister and struggle stalwart Pravin Gordhan at the Kendra Hall in the Morningside in Durban on Wednesday. The ANC in KwaZulu-Natal held a memorial service in honor of Gordhan ahead of his funeral on Thursday. KwaZulu-Natal MEC for Transport and Human Settlements Boniso Duma said the attendance of Gordhan's memorial service was a statement of values that he stood for. This is what Comrade Pravin Gordhan fought for. I'm sure he would have been delighted to see this audience. If you think about non-racial character, this event is among those and we can just build from this experience, Duma said. Duma added that it was befitting for Gordhan to receive a special official funeral given the sacrifices he has made for the country. The whole country has been shaken by the departure of Comrade Gordhan. The apartheid masters never imagined that one day we will gather and talk freely about one of our giants, he said. Gordhan died at the age 75 on September 13th following a short battle with cancer. He had served as Minister of Finance from 2009 until 2014 and again from 2015 until 2017. He was appointed as Commissioner of South Africa's Revenue Service in 1999 after a period as Deputy Commissioner. He also served as Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs from 2014 until 2015 and as Minister of Public Enterprises from February 2018 until his March 2024 announcement of planned retirement. The presidency said the funeral would encompass ceremonial elements formed by the South African Police Service SAPS. The national flag is being flown at half-mast from Saturday morning until the evening of the funeral. The nation is forever indebted. COSATU pays tribute to Pravin Gordhan. In a heartfelt tribute to Pravin Gordhan, COSATU President Singiswa Losi honored the late stalwart of the liberation struggle on Thursday at the Durban ICC, recognizing his lifetime of service to South Africa. According to Losi, Gordhan's contributions, planning decades, were marked by his unwavering commitment to uplifting the nation, a journey that began his early days as a student activist. We pay tributes to a proud son of the nation, a stalwart of the liberation struggle. While we mourn with the Gordhan family, we celebrate a life in service of the people, Losi said. From his youth, Gordhan made clear choices that shapes his path. Life is a journey of choices, Losi said. Gordhan, from his days as a student activist, was clear that his life would be dedicated not only to his community in Durban, but to the entire nation. Every waking moment was a dispersal of the liberation movement. Our people will continue to be the beneficiaries of his relentless commitments. Losi further reflected on Gordhan's ability to resist personal confront in favor of the liberation struggle, particularly during times of immense pressure and adversity. Gordhan could have led a comfortable life. He chose liberation. When confronted by detention and torture that today's peacetime heroes cannot imagine, he did not waver. Gordhan's role as an organizer and visionary was also highlighted by Losi. Losi said his contributions to the African National Congress ANC, South African Communist Party SACP, and the real Umkhonto weSizwe were pivotal, as was his role in the crafting the Progressive Constitution of South Africa, which serves as the foundation for social justice and the upliftment of the working class. He helped craft the progressive constitution that compels the state to uplift the poor in pursuit of a non-racial, non-sexist democratic South Africa, Losi said. Gordhan's most visible legacy lies in his work at the South African Revenue Service, SARS, she said. PG's most enduring legacy is the world-class SARS he helped build. It is this SARS that has been the cornerstone of the entire transformation agenda that sees 60% of the state budget invested in working-class communities, Losi said. The results of his efforts are evident in the millions benefiting from social relief, free education, housing, and essential services. Furthermore, Losi noted that Gordhan also played a crucial role during the global economic crisis in 2008, leading a stimulus package that stabilized the economy and saved millions of jobs. As South Africa faced corruption and state capture in the following decade, Gordhan remained steadfast in his defense of the Constitution and the public good. When some entrusted to lead choose to betray the nation, Comrade PG stood up and defied the forces of state capture, Losi said. Losi also noted that in recent years, Gordhan answered the call to rescue South Africa's state-owned enterprises, SOEs, from collapse. His leadership in guiding Eskom, SAA, and Transnet away from disaster was vital in bringing the country out of a crippling period of load shedding and returning SAAs to the skies. Losi acknowledged that while Gordhan was not perfect, his legacy, his integrity, courage, and commitment were undeniable. No sober person could doubt the integrity, courage, and the commitment that guided PG. He did not seek popularity. He sought to defend the Constitution and serve the people. As Losi concluded her tribute, she expressed the nation's gratitude to Gordhan's family. To the Gordhan's family, thank you for sharing your son, husband, father, and uncle with the liberation movement and the nation. We are grateful to have walked this journey with such a distinguished veteran as PG. The nation is forever indebted for his service. And that's it from Egypt's Network. Stay tuned to our celebrity news and gossip updates.